Howdy y'all, I am Ice Gold, and I know I'm a couple days late to this, but I am going to be reading through the full patch notes for the summer update with the title Cabal's Revenge. And this update obviously brings the new Polaris-themed raid, and there's some other stuff too. There is some other stuff, but the bread and butter here is going to be the Cabal's Revenge raid, and you know what? Let's just get into it. I'll share my thoughts on the raid in a moment. So, take revenge in the new Cabal's Revenge raid and the latest Wiz update currently on test realm. Tournaments are back. Okay, so they did go through with it, and they didn't just add unranked because Ratbeard said so. That's good to see. See what you think of the new boss rematch reboot, rejoin previous wizards and new adventures through the recent wizards feature, and take a spin on the emote wheel. We've also got tons of updates on Beast Moon events, new guild achievements, spell changes, combat changes, and much more in store for wizards. This summer is going to be a hot one on the battlefield. And okay, so this is test realm, so probably a lot of bugs, but we'll figure it out. So, Cabal's Revenge raid. Some feuds can never die. For all the villains you've faced and monsters you've defeated, there's one for whom hatred of the wizard has become so potent they will warp reality itself to see their vengeance satisfied. And they brought along some of the Cabal to help them. Not every member of that organization was happy about recent developments, and they have gathered at an abandoned fort in Polaris to make their displeasure known. So, yeah, in Wallaru, so I'm kind of spoiling the end of the game here, but in Wallaru, we mend the schism and bring the Cabal back to the Arcanum. So that's sort of what's going on here, but not every member of that organization was happy about recent developments. And the boss, the one in question here, there are two raid bosses as it says here, but the one in question here, man, I don't know who their writing team is, but wow. I mean, like, okay, skip ahead like 10 seconds if you don't want to get spoiled on who the main raid boss is, but the main raid boss is that damn Cabal soldier. Yeah, from Caramel and Novus. And okay, I think it's been 10 seconds. So maybe I should stop talking about it, but yeah, we went from the nullity and Hoon How to this. Kinda don't get it. But sure, I guess. I mean, new robe's a new robe, right, team? Anyway, rally your guild and prepare for the greatest challenge yet. Facing off against not just one, but two raid bosses, they are joined by familiar foes and evil twins as the Cabal makes their last stand. They say revenge is a dish best served cold, but it is also best served only level 170s, yada yada. Speak to Gwynfell Warden and Dundara Avalon to begin the raid. Okay, so, kind of neat. I did do a stream Monday night, and it is currently Tuesday as I record this, and I'm about to stream in a good 30 minutes. But the new raid, it's got some interesting mechanics, I'll say that much. It's pretty neat. If I say so myself, it's got some cool stuff going on. I haven't won as of the time I'm recording this, but the guild that I'm about to raid with, the Viridian Wizards, they, I think, have won, so I'm hoping this stream sort of, you know, I can get a win from it, so see how that goes. Anyway, new lore spells and pack updates. Alright, so 5 new lore spells are coming for the schools of Fire, Ice, Death, Myth, and Balance. 2 of the lore packs and their associated gold skeleton key bosses have been updated to drop new spell elements and new gear. Each of these key bosses also has a new reagent they will be dropping and an associated gear crafter outside their sigils. So, I don't know if they mean to say that these bosses will be dropping actually decent gear, but I mean, the Lambent Fire and Takanobu the Masterless, those are 2 bosses. But they never, this is an Arc 1 boss, this is an Arc 2 boss. I don't know, man. We'll figure it out anyway. Ninja Spell Metal Pack, Takanobu the Masterless. So Fire gets a new spell called Apocalypse. I'm guessing you just summon a sheep that rolls through and deals a little bit of damage, and then it will detonate 2 actually damage over times. And this is an interesting spell, especially because it's only 4 pips, but I personally don't think I'm going to be going for it. Like for fire PvP, it might be good. You know what I'm saying? It might be, but ultimately, it's. I like to leverage my overtimes. I like to just like put on like an immolate OT and then go for an Ifrit, then maybe surge into a Scion. So I'm mostly just leveraging those overtimes for more damage. And this would detonate them, and that would be cool. But if you're not really going for too much damage on the overtimes, it's probably not worth to drop 4 whole pips on this. So the fire spell probably won't be farming. So Ice gets Ice Elemental, 330 ice damage, and add a 30% universal weakness. This is also 4 pips for those unaware, and it's like a lore master for ice. Like, I might use it if what's it called? Cold Iron. If Cold Iron never gets changed, where it gives 2 45% chromatic shields, but maybe I'll use this if that ever happens. But for now, definitely not. Death gets Monk of Morning, 470 death damage, and add a minus 50% universal shield. As if we needed more death buffs, right, team? So, yeah, I mean, Death's just got a hit and shield. That makes sense. That makes so much sense. You heard? But, yeah, I mean, a 5 pip hit and shield that actually does, like, halfway decent damage. I mean, as long as Wraith is a thing, I'm probably not going to use it, but yeah. Death got buffed this update, which is kind of all you need to know. So, for the Knights Spell pack, dropping from Lambent Fire, we've got the Reconnetin spell for Myth, which is 4 pips, and Monk of Morning is 5, actually. So, Reconnetin, 4 pips in total. Remove 3 positive wards, and then do 395 myth damage. This is going to be a staple for those unaware. Splash Squatch is currently what most myths use if they're not using Golem. It's just like a 4-pip offense-defense move, because Splash Squatch will steal a shield. But it's not real great against Tri-Shields, and this is where Reconnetin comes in. Reconnetin will remove 3 shields and then just pound the target for 400 damage. Why? I don't know. Myth didn't need another buff, but they got one. So, yeah, the big 2, as it were, are sort of tearing away from the rest of the pack in this update. Death and Myth are going to be infinitely harder to beat following this update, so there's that. And then Balance gets Brave Sir Badger, 390 balance damage, and plus 25% universal damage over 4 rounds. Poor man's Thunderbird, won't be using it. So, the lore spells for the 5 that got added, I think it's 5. Yeah, 5. So, Fire and Ice sort of got the short end of the stick, and then Balance also got the short end of the stick. So 3 out of the 5, rather. But the 2 meta schools in PvP, Death and Myth, they got Deus Ex Machina, bro. They got even more buffs. So, in case you're wondering how much KI cares about that. So, Boss Rematch Reboot. Boss Rematches are back. Not only are R2 rematches newly available, but many other improvements have been made to the system to broaden the appeal and reach of these combats. So, they kind of just added these. But they did add standard mode now, which I think is actually really cool. So, I don't know if, okay, this is real important. If standard mode doesn't drop the gear that we're after, there's no point in doing it. I don't know for sure if the gear will drop or not, but if it doesn't, this is a pointless change. But if it does, very good. This is either very good or very bad, depending on that alone. So how about that? So, Morgant's Saga, R2 rematches. I'm assuming these are going to be the ones that drop the Wastelander set, because I know that the rematches from Arc 1 dropped the Skyfarer set. So, stands to reason that we'd see the Wastelander gear become available through this. So, I like that. Okay, anyway. Harvested Reagents Audit. Okay, so, yeah, this, Okay, we've reduced the respawn rate to 5 seconds. So once you pick one up, you can immediately start looking for the next one. You can see this in Wizard City and Avalon. Okay. So, okay, with this audit, we have selected one reagent per world that will be exclusive to that world. Because of this, new reagents, Flax and Rose, have been added to Wizard City and Avalon, respectively. I don't really know what those do. I think they have something to do with maybe the rematches, but I mean, it's like they made this change and then just didn't apply it to all the reagents that people actually care about. So how about that? Okay, other rematch improvements. Each world's housing vendor now has the recipe to craft their world's rematch. That's actually cool. I do like that. Don't have to go to Raquel anymore. Don't gotta go find her in the arena. Rematches are given as badge rewards after completing an arc of worlds. Oh, that's actually cool. So, yeah, because before you had to do all this crafting nonsense, but now it's like if you can actually like on my walkthrough character, if I ever finish Chrysalis on that character, you know, I would actually get like all of the rematches for that. So pretty neat. Level 170 versions of the gear available in Arc 1 rematches have been added to the Arc 2 rematches. I don't know if this means like Skyfarer just like straight up upgrades, or if they actually mean Wastelander. They're the same template, so I'd imagine they are. So, you know, at least the Wastelander gear, we can actually have that drop now. Cosmetic items and radial menu emote wheel. I think that's actually pretty neat. I don't know how much I'll be using it. I'll probably just put like the bee dance in there, and that'll be it. But pretty cool. Nice little quality of life change. Oh, you can now equip up to 5 victory dances at a time, and it'll randomly play one. So that's cool. I might have to do that. 5 teleport effects. If they ever bring back that summer one, I just know I'm just going to be getting flashbanged at random. Like that beach ball teleport effect. It's crazy out here. Anyway, other notes on the cosmetic inventory. This inventory can be accessed quickly with Shift and C. Item limit of 100. Okay. Recent wizards are characters with whom you've recently shared an activity but aren't yet friends. The activities can be fun together in combat, exploring a dungeon, hatching a pet, playing on a Beast Moon team, playing Derby, playing on PV teams, or PvP teams, right? Or playing a housing game together. You may send Pixie Post messages to recent wizards, and if they're online, you may chat with them or teleport to them. You can right-click to inspect them. Surely this won't be used for evil with Beast Moon and Darkmoor, right? Anyway, at least there's a setting to disable Pixie Post messages, so that's cool. Guild achievements, pretty neat, I guess. Social kiosk improvements. I'm not gonna lie, the social kiosk has been kind of a dead feature. So if they're working on that, that's good at least. So new Beast Moon forms, don't care. School pip generation and other combat changes. Okay, so it's now determined by comparing your Archmastery stat against your opponent's Archmastery only. It no longer compares against your own teammates. Ratbeard finally lost this one. he was hardline defending this one to the end, and I'm real glad that this finally got changed, because it's like I knew people who would run like like 5 Archmastery jewels, triangles and all, so they would just get the max possible Archmastery and you would never get a school pip. So this is good. So glad. And then there's a bunch of bug fixes. I did see the Myth Silence spell actually had a new expanded spell and spec description, so all of them probably do, so that's neat. Okay, Thundersnake, Dark Sprite, and Bloodbath Spawn Path has been modified. This is something that I heard about happening before. Thundersnake will gambit a blade for a chromatic blade, a 45 chromatic blade, which I think is cool. Dark Sprite... It's these two that I have an actual problem with. Dark Sprite will now gambit a shield for a 45% chromatic weakness. For 1 pip. Cool. So it's like now a death can try shield, and they can ghoul, or they can Dark Sprite, or they can Dark Sprite and then ghoul, and As if Death needed more buffs, right? And then, as if Myth needed more buffs, Bloodbath's bottom path has been modified as well. This will now gambit a shield for a shield. It's like Dark Sprite I could sort of understand because, you know, weaknesses like that are part of Death's identity. I mean, the shield gambit part isn't, but the weakness part is. So this is on identity, this is on identity, even though this is one of it is a bit strong. But Bloodbath will get Bloodbath, right? Bloodbat will gambit a shield for a shield. I think it puts a 50% universal. I can't remember, but this. Why would they do that? It was bad before, but they could have done something with that and worked with it, but they decided to do this instead because Wiz. Alright, stuns and damage AoEs have been changed to standard only and are no longer usable in advanced combat. Stuns, good. Damage AoEs, kind of don't know how to feel. These weren't used in Azteca Raid. They were used in Dragonspire, and with this new Polaris Raid, I'm pretty sure Dragonspire is going to be dead content now because people would have to make new strats for it with this being gone. So, Wiz, I guess. Arc 2 bottom path treasure cards are now available at the PvP Crafter, Guild PvP Crafter, and Portal Apparel Crafter. So that's neat. Yeah. So I can use, I guess I can pack Path B Frost Giant on other schools to counter PvE, so that's cool at least. So I mean, it is still way too expensive, but anyway, at least you can do it now. And then several quest lights are now defaulted to being on. This has been like bugged forever, but back in the old days, you would see like a blue light if that was where your quest goal was at. You would see a yellow light if you just could walk in there, and the lights wouldn't even be on if you couldn't. So this brings back some of the immersion. I like that. So that is pretty neat. And then there are now gate keys that can take you to gold skeleton key bosses. Oh yeah. Okay, so you can use a gate key on a raid gate with your guild, and then you can farm gold skeleton key bosses with it. I don't know if it's more expensive, but this I do like it because you know you can farm with your guild and you know not have to waste a million gold keys because gold keys are real hard to get, especially these days. So this is a good change. There are also now 1.5 hour versions of raid keys. I'm glad about that. I don't have to be sitting there for 3 hours anymore, which is nice. And then added 5 new gauntlets for Portal Apparel for a total of 6. That's neat. You're going to click on your pet while playing as the pet. Cool. You can now create an adventure party with 2 players in a group. My boys are going to love this. I had to get one of my alts on to create one for our 3-person playthrough. Okay, World Skip Elixirs now for Zafaria, Avalon, and Azteca in the Crown Shop test and live later. That's pretty cool. These prices are obviously subject to change. They're not going to be 25 crowns, but an Azteca World Skip Elixir, they are going to make bank off of that. I'm just going to say it. They'd probably make even more bank if they added a Chrysalis World Skip Elixir, but to each their own. Maybe that'll come someday. Raid bundles and keys for all 3 raids added to the new raid section of the Crown Shop. That is actually pretty cool. Farming this Animus was a pain in the neck way back, so yeah, 820 crowns for it. It feels steep. But we'll see. Well, I do like the fact that you can at least get it now, so that's good. And then yeah. Okay, so there's just a couple non-bugs. Extra miscellaneous stuff. Mostly alright, so pretty decent update overall. Some good, some bad, as it is with most updates. So that is going to wrap up my Faeriequeens Wizards raid. Starts in about 15 minutes. So thank y'all for watching. I've been Ice Gold. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave like 50 comments for the algorithm. My Discord is down in the description if you want to chat with me some more. And I will see y'all later.